So today we're going to be looking at module 4, which is I think the second to the last. I think we're rounding up by next week, I believe. Fifth module will be next week. And today we'll be looking at AI in pedagogical practices. Last week, we looked at advancement in AI in educational practices. We looked at strategies for selecting and implementing appropriate AI tools, and we also looked at ways to integrate AI into our lesson planning, assessment, and classroom management. So I believe by the end of this session, today's class will be able to understand the limitation to our traditional pedagogical approaches. We'll look at how we can identify strategies for blending AI tools with our conventional classroom methods. And we also try to we'll see how we can apply the S.H.E guide, talking about being strategic, human-guided learning, and encouraging student autonomy by the end of this course. So the first module for today, AI in pedagogical practices. Okay, what this module is about how we can balance our approach, trying to use AI and our and trying to use AI as an assistant to balance the to encourage our traditional teaching, to make it more productive and get more value, and make students get more value from what we are teaching them. So we're looking at how to balance the approach and encourage and enhance our traditional pedagogy without compromising the human essence of education. So why will this matter? We discovered that many schools in Nigeria still rely heavily on our traditional manual lecture-based instructions. They actually limit innovation, creativity, and even limit the student engagement. So we usually have large class sizes that makes it difficult for teachers to track student progress in class. Usually we have several schools that have hundreds of students in a particular class. And no matter how good someone might be, it will be difficult for you to track each of these students and be able to know that, okay, this person needs this person needs that, and all of that. Then thirdly, when we look at the high workload that we have, probably you need to take attendance, you need to grade their work, you need to set test quizzes and all of that. We see that these high workloads also limit the time we have for engagement in the classrooms for our students. So, and with the help of AI, we can reduce this workload, track the learning gap faster, and improve the outcome, especially in under-resourced areas. Some of the limitations that we face in our traditional method are lecture-heavy instructions that limit engagement and creativity. Yes, general method of teaching actually lack in many ways. Some of it is that it just heavy lecture instructions that we are used to. We have taught you this and that, but we need to understand that there are ways we can improve our lessons and make more impact on the student. Some of these ways we can use to improve are like just like we demonstrated using visuals the last time. We can create visuals to represent visuals with some verbal, that's like videos, using AI to generate them to explain certain topics that are not very clear to students. Oh. Hello? We use this kind of instructions, and not every student learn with such style. So we need to use other methods. Maybe we can try to integrate video, can try to relate whatever we are teaching them to real life applications. I remember even when we were in schools sometimes, and we would always be doing X and Y, and we always be looking at it that when with this X and Y, in what way with this X and Y even help us? We have been solving X and Y things. So, but if we try to relate some of these things to real life applications, with the help of AI and all of that, I think the students are going to get they are going to get more engaged in such classrooms, and they will be willing to learn more from such classes. Then we also have our lessons not usually tailored to different learners' needs and speed. So different, just like we said just now, there are different styles of learning for different students, and there are different speed at which different students learn. The pace at which each student learn are different. So we need to be able to improve on that. AI can help us improve on this. So real-time feedback is also lacking. Most times when we even grade our students, I believe most times we use like I think grading in most of our schools usually we set tests for them like 3 times in a semester. I mean in a term, sorry. So that 3 times in a term, you can see that it's not possible for you to actually be in the class of about 100 students. You need to take attendance. In fact, I've actually witnessed a class where the teacher was more focused on attendance taking. Out of a 40 minutes class, they use about 15 minutes to take attendance and verify that the students that actually attended the class um, are the ones that are on the attendance list. So we can see taking out 15 minutes out of 40 minutes that you have for a whole session is a lot of time. Imagine using that time to add to your engagement time with the student. It's going to improve a lot. So these are some of the issues. Then manual grading and tracking. Wow. Imagine marking the script for all these students too, and data tracking and tracking the data, reducing real time for mentoring, reducing the real time for mentoring the student. So how can AI help teachers? AI tools can automatically mark quizzes. It can help us with assignment and help us by reducing our workload and helping us to save time. It can also help with smart tutoring platforms that can provide personalized revision or extra help for struggling students. So students that are having issues, AI can help us detect some of this and provide the necessary revision that they need, and any other information that they might need to catch up with what is existing. Similarly, with AI dashboard that can track student performance trend, we can identify who needs more support. Then teachers can use AI to generate in-depth less. I mean, to it can use in-depth can use AI to generate insight to adapt to lesson plans and targeted intervention. So what we are trying to say is AI can help us to generate where each student is lacking, what we need to work on, how where we need to come in, and then we can AI can also help us to reduce our workload, and we can have enough time to look at these students, even the responses that we get from them. We can engage them in discussion and see how they think critically about each of about the topic of discussion. So how do we blend AI with traditional techniques? We can we can use AI in our classroom as an assistant. We can use it to handle repetitive tasks while we focus on student engagement, or focus on the instruction. We can use AI to set quizzes, grade strips, generate progress report, and all of that. And we can also use AI. Um, we can use AI for guided this use AI as use AI for guided discussion, mentoring, and create a warm learning environment for this student to thrive. So using this hybrid model can allow both human and technology um, to thrive in the learning environment, in our educational environment. So how do we keep human communication alive? Yes, teachers are not expected to just use AI and just believe everything is AI has done everything for us. AI has not come to replace us. AI is only here to assist us with whatever we are doing. So as teachers, we need to always go through our AI generated feedback, and we don't just leave the student with whatever the AI gives us alone. AI can be used to set up some quizzes, essay scoring, and all of that, so that we can bring up discussions to reflect on what was learned. You get? So AI can also help to promote group project and peer feedback by ensuring by even providing tech enhanced learning environment. So physical presence and mentorship is encouraged and cannot be replaced by any AI tool or anyone. So um how do we now use ensure that we implement this S.H.E guide for our teaching in our teaching environment? First thing is we have to be strategic. We have to use AI to automate tasks like grading, progress monitoring, and quiz creation. We need to use AI, we need to choose the right AI tools that support our lesson planning rather than the one that dictate how we want to do it. So we have to be in control of this. Then let AI help with early identification of struggling students. So when we are strategic about our use of AI, it can help us a lot. So how do we also make sure that we as human also guide this entire learning process? We need to add our professional insight to whatever AI brings out for us. That whatever AI tools recommend, we need to look at those content, maybe bring up our own input and add to it where we feel is needed. Because AI cannot, it's not the alpha, it's not the omega. AI too can make errors. It depends on how well or the kind of data set that have been used to train the AI tools we are using. So with some it we are going to be needing human interaction once in a while, and then not even once in a while, always. And then even some critical issues, some kind of emotional topics or sensitive cultural issues too. We as humans need to come in and help to moderate such things and such topics, so we can stay involved in every step of the learning process. AI is your assistant, not your substitute. Use classroom time to mentor students, hold open discussion. Just like we said, when we use AI to reduce our workload, reduce our repetitive tasks, we are going to have enough time for student engagement in class. We can have open discussions with these students, and with the extra time we now have. And now we can also encourage student autonomy. That's We need to teach students how to use AI for independent study and self-paced learning. We need to incorporate project-based activities that require collaboration and real-time application. Just like I said earlier, trying to relate whatever we are teaching to real-life application and also encourage the students. And they can also, as students, use this AI, but with our guide to teach them how to also criticize some of the contents of this AI, how to we need to teach them how to know how to understand that AI too can have different views and can also have different opinions at times from what we are giving them. So it all depends. So they need to be able to question some of these output that comes from AI too. We need to encourage them to question and analyze AI feedback and not just accept it passively, just like what I said just now. So embedded lesson on we need to also embed lesson on AI literacy or digital literacy. Let's summarize how AI is used and the tools for teachers. How the categories that we have them in different categories. When we want to use AI, there are different AI tools that fall under different categories depending on what we want to do. So AI, the tools are developed for different to function best in different environment or in different areas. For example, when we want to create some course and lesson planning, we can use tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, Top Art to automate our lesson planning. So when we are doing differentiated learning, that's talking about adapting content to different student needs. We can use tools like Sparrow, Smart Sparrow, Dreambox, Newton, and then when we want to do auto grading to grade student assessments and all that, we can use things like GradeScope. Um, we also have pinpointing knowledge gap. how to identify knowledge gap. We can use area when we are looking at areas where students have difficulty. We can use tools like ExactPath, test preparation. We can use tools like ExamSoft, R the test, class point. And when we are looking at admin and task automation, we can look at Zypa, which can help to reduce teachers' workload. We can look at personalized virtual tutoring, which is AI assisted tutoring, where we have SQL AI providing student feedback. We can use tools like Tonytone Feedback Studio, which can help us to generate feedback on assignment. We can have adaptive universal access, where we can have AI accessibility tools like AI live capturing, Brainer, and all that. Okay, please let me just quickly bring something to our notice. For some students to, for some of us who are online that says they are not, sometimes they don't hear what I say very well. Do you know that on this particular Google Meet you are using, if you decide, you can decide to turn on your CC by going to those three dots, and you will see something CC. Once you press it, when you turn it on, you will see that everything we are talking about, you will be able to see everything being transcribed to you. You will see them. You will see everything on your screen. Everything I'm saying, you can read it on your screen as well. So for some who have issues hearing me sometimes, or if another um if another lecture or another session is going on, you can turn on that CC and you'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to see everything I'm saying. Okay, so I'll continue. So improve digital math and language learning. You can use tools like Matcha and Duolingo, and that's it. Okay. Um, Plans. We talked about bringing our lesson plans for today's activity. I don't know if there's anyone here with how many of us are here with our lesson plans. You can unmute if you have yours.
Yes, I have mine here.
Yeah.
Yes, I have mine too.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for bringing yours. I think Mr. Success, right? Mr.
Yes,
Success, you said you have yours too, right?
yes, I
Please,
have mine.
we are going to use your lesson plan for today's activity, and not just your lesson plan. We would like you to participate in this training. We want you
Okay,
to use your lesson plans, the normal one you have, and want you to use AI to upgrade these lesson plans, and let's see what is going to come up, what we are going to arrive at. Let's compare the result from what you have earlier and what we are going to get. So you are going to be doing the prompting. We talked about prompting a lot last week, where we talked about how you can include the structure, we can make what you want very clear, you can make it role based, you can add the age group that you want the lessons to be for, and all that. So we would like you, Mr. Success, to
okay.
help us. You can share your screen, I believe.
Let me quickly share. Give me a minute.
Okay, no problem.
So, Mr. Success, while I wait for you to share your screen, remember that last week we taught so much about prompt engineering, and the reason for this activity, just so far, just like what Mr. Ibrahim has said, is just to
Okay.
really help us understand that AI one has come to stay, and also the fact that you now have to now start thinking of ways that you can blend AI with normal traditional teaching. So we are now telling you that traditional teaching is not it can be better. So how can you make it better with AI? Because a lot of teachers we fall into that trap of using AI to replace us as teachers, like replace us. Even a lot of students too, we fall into that trap of using what AI to replace us. But now how can we use it with the traditional teaching, communication, effective delivery, trying to make sure that we are specific, we are strategic in using AI. So that is the reason why we said from the beginning that this is not going to show you how you can use ChatGPT or how you can use Google Gemini, but it's how you can use AI in pedagogy. You understand? So it's a different ballgame entirely. How can you use AI effectively? Mr. Success, are you ready for us? Hello, Mr. Success. Kindly unmute and talk. Yeah, so that we can. Are you ready? Okay.
Give me a minute.
So what we need you to. Okay.
Network on my other phone, so I can do that immediately.
Yeah, so are you ready with your other phone? Do you want to share now?
Just give me a minute. I
Okay.
just forwarded the meeting to my other WhatsApp, so I'm trying to do that like now. Give me a minute.
Okay. So kindly join with your other phone and share your lesson plan. We just want to see the lesson plan. Then, you, then I think from our own end, Mr. Ibrahim, maybe we try to share the AI tool from our end later on. While it gives us a prompt on how we can improve it. So what do you think?
Okay. That
Yeah, so
makes
that's
sense.
not so much. It's not so much
Okay, I'm
stress.
here now.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, well done. We have a lot of tech champions. Okay, very good. Yeah, over to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Am I sharing the screen
No, we
now?
just continue business. Like,
Yes. You're sharing the screen.
Is it sharing? I don't know if it's
Yes, it is
yes, we
working.
can
sharing.
see
So
it.
what you need to do now? We can see your
Hello.
screen, but we can see your screen. Yeah, so just
Okay.
show us your lesson plan. That's what you're going to show us now.
Okay.
So we're seeing
I'm
your
trying
WhatsApp.
to get.
Is your lesson plan on your
Yep.
WhatsApp?
And I want to open. Yeah, I have a whole lot of lesson plans. So just give me a moment so I can
Okay.
open one. Yes.
Okay. Just want to share. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. Well
Just
done.
these are a whole lot of lesson plans. So I want to just pick one out of it.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, one that will be easy for everybody. Okay. So kindly pick any of the subjects if you want. No? Will computer be okay?
Yes, it's okay. Computer is okay.
Yeah, computer studies is okay.
Okay.
I need to come and get this lesson plan from you. Yeah, go up.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
these are for my school, so I use them all the time. Are you there?
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start with civic. Yeah. This is civic
Okay.
lesson plan, week 8.
Okay.
Yeah. This is period 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have the topic to
35
be
minutes. Okay.
okay. Well, we have the topic to be qualities and problems of civic society.
Okay.
So from what he has been explaining, I guess we are going to be using this to
Okay.
work with AI. So, with all the steps given here, how do we apply all he has said to all this? Is that what I'm explaining?
Yes. So looking at how we can use AI to make this better.
Okay. Now, I don't know. Am I to explain how the AI is going to use this, make it better?
You can go on and explain, or you can be our teacher. Anything you understand, don't worry, it's fine. Then we will take it up from there. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Okay. In part of the instructional material and resources, a lot of schools, I would say, are not they don't have enough facilities to carry this out. Like in my school, teachers are not allowed to use phones to teach. They insist mostly that you go with your lesson notes. We are not even allowed to go with textbook because it's a government school, one of the biggest government schools in Edo State. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello?
We can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
Now,
we
the
see
problem
what
we are
you
facing in
success.
that school right now is this: a lot of teachers have abused the use of gadgets in the classroom. For example, you have teachers going to class room with phone and giving the students phones to copy on the board. Do you get me? So before we start explaining this, I will need to make you understand that some of us have disadvantages at this, while some of us has this to be more at advantage for us. Like me in particular, I know it's more of an advantage to me because I teach computer science. Are we there? Hello?
Yes, we are with you. Don't worry,
Okay,
with you.
because I teach
Yeah.
computer science. So when I'm teaching, this is allowed. So in terms of the instructional resources or the teacher preparation, I have been doing this. I think I wrote our teacher here, the female teacher, that I tried it 1 or 2 times and it's made my whole work faster. But for now, the one I am really exposed to is Chat GPT. Are we there?
Yes, we
I
are.
understand
Well
that Chat
done.
GPT can a whole textbook within the space of 30 minutes. And then if you have questions that you want to be answered, ChatGPT can help you do that in less than 5 minutes. A whole lot of questions. Now, as an educator that I am, I don't think this program should be exposed to students. I'm just saying that for the lectures. Now, to prepare all this, I think there was one of the program he mentioned while displaying the screen. I'm trying to remember that could help us with the grading system and the whole marking system. ChatGPT can mark for you, yes. It can answer questions, yes. But I did not really get the context of that program because there's a program I'll be trying to write for my kids because I have a software I try to develop for my kids, an app that helps these kids practice for WAEC. They will go use the computer system at the lab. The app is to give them questions to answer, and immediately they finish answering the question, it will give them their results. This prepares them for objective questions for WAEC. Are we there? Now, in case of that particular app, I'm trying to create a great system where more than 100 students, I can have more than 100 students there, and it will give me their results. Are we there?
Yes.
An average score at the same time. But with the app that I saw or was from this group, I was unable to develop average scores. So while trying to explain this topic, I was also drop my challenges. I'm sorry if that affects the whole scheme. So what I really, yeah, what I'm expecting that maybe we are going to get from this model 4 is why giving us these particular packages. Yes, there's not, we could go explore by ourselves, yes, but there's no room for us to now know how to use maybe basically all the tools. For me, I may be exposed based on I'm already kind of, should I say I'm at an average level of using all these applications, but for a layman or a teacher that is not that exposed to IT, it may be challenging. Even for someone like me, if I'm finding it difficult to insert average scores for such a program, I believe that someone that is not maybe to my level will not be able to do anything with that particular package. Thank you very much. Then I'll go to step 3 of my lesson plan. Are we there? Where we have application in classroom exercises. Hello?
Well, we can hear you.
Okay. Now,
Can
this
hear
particular
you.
exercise is supposed to be carried out for 9 minutes with the kids. Now, if I am to share class size or class group and list the qualities and problems we are having in society, it will have been very, 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 very easy to go along with this particular program we are using when we have a digital board in our classrooms here in Nigeria. But here in Nigeria, we are only exposed to whiteboards. For me, I'm opportune to have a mini projector. So basically, at times I use mini projectors to just give them slideshows of this stuff. That's why the other day I came into your DM and was asking you that your slideshows are very good and I would love to learn from how you guys create such stuff. So if I'm to create slideshows for this and list and explain and even give pictorial evidence and videos, which I do most of the times in my classes, the time sometimes is not enough. So it is only this platform where we are converting it, when we are using AI tools, that we can manage 9 minutes for this particular step. Sometimes I won't end up using less than 9 minutes. Then going to the next step of evaluation. This is the exciting part of it. I could easily just ask Chat GPT to, while the class is going on, are we there? While the class is going on, majority of times I ask Chat GPT while using my recorder on it to just capture majority of the questions. And when this kid answer questions or through their insight about a particular problem, I immediately ask Chat GPT to process this, and after which I display it on the screen. And when I display such programs on the screen and they see that the question that comes from this kid most of the time is, "Sir, how do you do it?" So I think this whole idea will be really good for classroom management and then time management. Thank you very much. I'll stop here.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. I really, really appreciate the fact that you're able to point out the challenges, because the truth is that as trainers, we are training, yes, you, based on what we and the feedback we get from you is what is going to improve our our training techniques. Do you understand? And
Yes.
looking at, I understand the fact that you mentioned something about the challenges of having there are little tools you have access to, especially as teachers. And we understand the old government thing. We understand where we are. We understand our reality. Kindly do something for me. Can you just send a screenshot of just two pages? I mean the lesson plan, just the lesson plan, not the notes on that. Just those 2 pages that you talked about, so that we can use it for this activity. Did you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
here.
Send me a screenshot on WhatsApp. I know you have my number.
I'm doing that now.
Okay, thank you so much. So everybody, it's actually true that we have a lot of challenges as Nigeria, and the educator sector is not left behind. But you know one thing, and that is one thing I want everybody here to take home and to keep at the back of your mind. And that is one thing I'm always telling everybody during the training. The truth is this: the world is not going to wait for you to catch up. Do you understand? The world is not going to wait for you to say, "Oh, I don't know if it's going to be. I don't have access to this. I don't have access to that." So the world is not going to wait for you to catch up, and that is why we are introducing this, because AI has come to stay. We are not arguing that. We are not going back on that one. That one is it has come to stay, and we're even having fears. I was talking to Mr. Ibrahim that we're having a talk with some professors, and they were just telling me that they are scared that this AI thing, because AI is even writing thesis for people, and what is their fear? It's going to take over the teaching, it's going to take over the students' creativity, it's going to make people not want to think again. Mr. Success, I'm still waiting for the screenshots. Okay. So it's going to make people not to think again. It's going to do a lot of things. But now looking at this lesson plan, you're going to agree with me that there are some lapses in that lesson plan. Why? Because those students, they can do so much more if the activities are augmented, if they're augmented, if they're more hands-on. That lesson plan is just looking like it's fitted for to build collaboration. And if you as a teacher don't even know how to creatively put in so many other activities inside that activity, inside inside the lesson plan, you're going to be having issues creating half-baked kind of students. So what is AI coming to come and do it for you, as trying to blend it together with your traditional teaching? You already have a lesson plan like this, you want to make it better, you want to make it more hands-on. AI is helping you with your planning back end. AI cannot do the delivery for you as a teacher. So we know that we are lacking in so many things. One, just like Mr. Success with lesson plan reviewed, we are lacking in time. You just have 35 minutes with these students. And sometimes for government schools up to now, you're having like 50 students in the class, 60, 70. You understand? In fact, sometimes one teacher will not come. You are putting two classes together, you're having 100. Okay, so now we now have to now think of better ways that we can actually do this, because the reason why a lot of students are Mr. Success, have you sent it? Because I'm waiting for you. That's the reason why I'm still talking. I'm yet to see it. Okay, so the reason why a lot of students are still saying that school is calm is because they can just go to their phones, ask question on ChatGPT and get the answers, or they go to YouTube, watch a video, they are getting the answers. You give them assignments, you can look at the assignments based on that task, based on that lesson plan. It's something that a ChatGPT can actually do for you. So this is why we're now saying that AI has come to stay. But now with the AI, how are we now going to do it? It's just like, so look at AI as washing machine that has come to replace using your hand to wash. When we had washing machine, people were like, women will be very lazy. They will not know how to wash clothes, those kinds of things. So how do you now blend it? As you as a mother that have washing machine at home, but you want your daughter to know how to wash effectively, what do? You teach her how to use the washing machine, you teach her how to use her hand. So you have to blend. As if you're blending now. That's what this whole module is about. Blending AI with traditional mode of learning. Have you
Well,
sent it
that's been
success?
sent. Yes, mate, that's been sent.
Okay. Thank you
Thank-
so much, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're going to be using this quickly to I'm going to do two things. So the first thing I'm going to do is, we are teachers, so I really agree that we should not hide anything from anybody. So I'm going
True.
to do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I'm going to be doing two methods. I'll be sharing my screen now. I already have Mr. Success lesson plan. But first of all, let's clap from class success. Please use your reaction to show thumbs up, to clap from, because seriously, you did a very fantastic job. I really like the way you explained, and it was very realistic and everything. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for offering, and thank you for doing a good justice to this thing. Okay, so I am going to be using ChatGPT now. Yeah, so I have this. So I have this, and now we're going to be asking you some questions, Mr. Success. How many students do you have in your class on an average? Can you hear me?
Hello, please come again.
Yes. How many students do you have in your class?
50 for each classes, ma'am.
Interesting. So we have 50 students.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 50 students. Okay. Now let's look at how we can make this better, right? And remember that I said that we just have 35 minutes. We're teaching 50 students. We want
Yeah.
them to want to use 20% skills. The only thing that we have access to are the things that were listed in that space. So how do we now integrate AI, or how do we now integrate technological tools into this? So while I'm not going to, I'll not be giving you a lot of ideas, because I want to use this based on AI. So I need to let you know that this is the first time I'm seeing this lesson plan. I've seen a lot of lesson plans, but this is the first time I'm seeing this particular lesson plan. So we're going to be doing this together. So right now, I'm not like a guru. We are learning in this
Yep.
journey. And
I know, ma'am.
okay. So let us ask ChatGPT. I'm going to be uploading the files, uploading the lesson plans first of all, and I'm going to do this and ask ChatGPT questions. So the first question is that you should identify the lapses in this lesson plan. Do you understand? So
Yep.
let us so identify the lapses, the gaps in this lesson plan. Okay, and in this lesson plan, and suggest a better lesson plan. Okay, so take into consideration the fact that these Please kindly mute if you're mute if you are because you're going to be distracting our class if you're not muted. Okay, so take into consideration the fact that this is an African school, a Nigerian school, a Nigerian government school. There are about 50 students in the class. Okay, the teacher has access to little or no technology, just their phones. Okay, in the classroom, there is no whiteboard, there's no interactive board. We just have a whiteboard, a traditional whiteboard. Let me just put it that way so that it does not feel like whiteboard, white marker board. So in your improved lesson plan, maximize the use of 30 minutes, or extra 30 minutes, so that at least we are able to save some time for some other things. So 30 minutes to create and integrate 21st century learning skills, skills and activities. Okay.
Okay, yes.
Please kindly mute. Mr. Ibrahim, kindly mute this person. Yeah. Mr. Panfeban, you always mute. I don't, you always on mute. I don't know why. Okay, so in the classroom,
I'm okay.
in the lesson. Okay, so we have this, and let us see. So let's just see what is created immediately. Let's see if it's something that can. So remember, like we said, that AI creates for you, but you have to use your brain to now look at. Okay, so look at the gaps in the original lesson plan, time management. The lesson plan for 35, but only 30 minutes can make realistic. Okay, settling down, it needs some tightening, overcrowded activity. For a class of 50, breaking into a group can be chaotic and time consuming. Passive engagement, some students mostly learning, listen and observe. Yes, I saw that at first and I was like, wow, because they're just listening. It's very passive. They're not engaged, you understand? Okay, so buzz learning, internal browsing are mentioned, but it's not realistic given that there's no device like Wi-Fi. Okay, is more applied when it's practiced through real life tasks, critical thinking, challenges, and all that. No inclusion of formative assessment tools like peer feedback, exit tickets. You understand? Assignment is vague. Writing a 10 paper may not be practical with limited support or structure. So everybody, can we see the gaps in this lesson plan? You can see that AI has given us gaps already, that okay, these are the gaps that are in this lesson plan. Let's look at what AI suggests to us as an improved version of that lesson plan. So here we have warm storm. So can you see? We have a warm up and a brainstorming. Mr. Success, can you see what can I say? The
Yeah, I'm
revamped
sorry.
lesson
I'm here.
plan.
Yep.
Okay, so can see that what do you think is society? So now they have to write key. So you are now the first step when you come to class, instead of doing that thing you're doing in your class. Let me go back to your lesson plan. So instead of doing what your lesson plan says, I would, sorry, let me just see if I can quickly get it from here. Okay, so the very first thing your lesson plan says here is that ask students if they have an idea of civil society. Provide the students for student activity, they provide varied responses, talk and talk. Okay, now it's not telling you that what you ask, so it's giving you a specific of what you're going to ask. You're now going to use the think, peer, share. So think peer share is they already have like small groups, or you talk to their partner. You say, okay, what do you think about civil society? They should talk to their partner, or they should talk to maybe 3 of them or 5 of them. They talk to their partners and they say, okay, civil society, this civil society is that. And you can even before that class tell them maybe A4 paper or something they should write. They should using the something using mind maps. They should write what they think civil society is. Give them 3 minutes to do that. Or if you don't have 3 minutes to take time, you know the way students can be, you can say, okay, just ask your partner. Now you now point to specific people, they should give their answers. So when they give their answers on the board, you say, okay, Miss Amina or Fatima said that civil society is this. Do you understand? So you write on the board and you write Fatima's name on it. The reason why you're doing that is because it's create a sense of belonging and engagement in the class. Everybody, oh wow, okay, that title, that definition, I'm gonna actually better about that definition. Or you can even say group A, this is your definition and all that. Okay, then now we have concept clarification, whereby you are going to now use 2 real life Nigerian examples, you understand, to really explain and maybe sketch visuals on the board to give like examples. You can see that we did not use a tech tool. This is not tech tool now. This is upgrading your lesson plan to make it more 21st century like, to make it more engaging, more active, because that lesson plan is very passive. You just have to come to class, you just teach. Yes, there's group activity, but even the group activity is not really what can I say, it's not really engaging actually. That's just the truth. And students get tired and they'll just be wondering that I can watch YouTube for this thing. Now why am I coming to school? Which is actually what we don't want. Okay. So at this point, you as a teacher, you're not teaching, you're not talking to everybody, you're just guiding the students, facilitating them through that process. So you just give like a simple visuals on the board, or if you have something, if you have pictures, if you don't have the access to have a projector or something, maybe you can get pictures that you can print and just show them this, and you talk you know, that is, so at that point you are using real life example. Remember that in your lesson plan there's no real life example, it's just civil society. There's no real life example of something, of what you need to do. Now you would have thought about this from your head from the beginning. You are going to split the class into 5 groups of 10. Remember, there are 50, so each group gets a card with a problem or quality of a civil society to discuss and present. So this is like 10 minutes. You already have an idea of the group, or even before you come to the class, you would have told the captain that this is a group, or they should divide the group by themselves. Or what you even do that before the class, you'd have done that paper thing, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5. You understand? So when the captain is meant to go to the class, maybe in the morning, and give everybody their paper. So all group 1, all group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, they come together. So you have saved time, because you just have 30 minutes for that class, and you have to maximize that time very, very well. Okay, so you now give them cards that they're meant to brainstorm, think. So before this, you can even give them a task to do. You can give them a video to watch at home, if your school permits it. And I think schools should begin to permit at this particular point in time. You can give them, okay, watch this particular video, or ask if your school has a way of sharing that video. If it's maybe their WhatsApp, if it's possible, and or they have their platforms. If some schools may not really have, that's the reality of what we are facing in Nigeria. But if even if it's through WhatsApp, you understand, maybe a YouTube link. Now a lot of parents are scared because their children can go on YouTube and end up watching Nigerian movie, or end up watching something else. So there's what we call the video.link. I'm going to share it on the platform, video.link. Yes. So video.link, you post that YouTube video on video.link, it generates another link for you. So that particular link that is generated is what you can share with any parent confidently. Do you know why? Because it's going to be showing only that video to the child or to the students. If the students want to go outside, it's going to take the child, the students out. They have to restart, that kind of thing. So there's no adverts, there's no distractions that are distracting the students from the learning at that particular point in time. So you could have given them that video, or give them something to read, or a project, or something to do before the class. So people that have an idea, you can now pair them with people that actually don't have an idea, because people may have their own reality. Some people may not have phones at home, their parents may be very busy, a lot of stories, but you just keep on asking. And as time goes on, children will now begin to learn that because they're looking forward to your class, they can just come in the morning and be asking the friend that always watch video that, oh yeah, they miss on your voice, oh yeah, tell me what videos are about, because they don't want to miss out of your class. They want to also contribute, you understand? Okay, now after that, you ask each group to present. So you can see that at this point you are realistic, you are actually like practically, sorry, let me use that word, putting communication and collaboration into action, because now they've talked together as a team. And if you can go for that as a teacher, you give each person everybody in that team, you give them a particular work to do. There's a timekeeper, there's the one that is idea brainstormer. So that person is in charge of organizing there's a leader, there's someone that is secretary that is always writing, all the points that they are something. There's someone that is going to present. You understand? There's someone that is going to put all those ideas together and form and iron it out, or make sure. So you can see that 5 people already have what they are going to do. And if you can do it yourself, you make sure that you just tell them that, okay, if you are holding number 1 or in your group, just know that you are something, or if you are the first person, your own work is to do. So just to really make sure that you're having variety of people doing different things in your classroom. So once you're through, you ask students to write one quality, one problem of civil society on a slip of paper before leaving, and they give it to you. You can actually go through it. You can even post it. If there's a display board, you can share the idea based on the display board, maybe the best ones. So you can see that this way what are you doing? You can see that it's different. It's actually very, very different. And sorry, let me just share again before we move on to the next slide. I'm so sorry that I'm taking time on this. We just really want to make sure that we understand effectively. So you can see that the student activity is more practical in this lesson plan. It's not they listen and they observe, they turn to a group. No, you think, you pair with a partner, you share with the class. You listen, you ask questions, and you take notes. They discuss in groups, assign a speaker to summarize their point in 30 seconds. They are active listening, and they are brief peer questioning. They write and they submit. So what I sent to the 21st century skills is what we have here. It's the same thing you have on your lesson plan actually, but you can see that the activities are quite different. Okay. Now, what is the homework? You can see that this homework is very, very different from the homework that we saw on that lesson plan also. Okay, let's go back to the lesson plan so I can just show you quickly. So yeah, you have assignments. Say write a term paper on qualities and problems in the society. Let's see what ChatGPT suggested that we should do. It says that write a paragraph. What's a paragraph? It's understanding you're looking for. And again, you're a teacher, you're going to mark 50 students, 10 paper. Write a paragraph in your civic notebook. How can we improve civil society in Nigeria? Include at least one unique suggestion, one new suggestion. Of course, what does it force your students to do? They are forced to think. You understand? They are forced to think of something new, something maybe based on what you have taught them, based on those visuals, begin to think, okay, this can work, this cannot work. And the best thing you can even do, maybe the last 5 minutes, you can try to do this, you even do it in class. The reason because they can go back home and ask ChatGPT and give them an answer, something like that. Okay, so now we have additional suggestions. Use movement instead of staying seated and letting students to walk to the board to post. So use movement. Let them walk to the board and maybe write, walk to the board and present. Use a call and response just to build energy. You understand? Make use of simple visuals. Draw symbols like scales for justice or chain for operation. So these kinds of things just to support visual learners. So ChatGPT has given you an idea. And now what are you going to do? Delivery. add more creativity. You understand your students better. You understand them better. So based on this, oh, how is it going to work? How can I make it better? What can I do? Okay, this particular child, I know that this particular child, it takes so much time for him to understand, okay, what group should I put him? So that is the background work that you will do as a teacher with the aid of what? AI. So you can see that AI now, we've used it now, blended it together with traditional teaching. Your lesson plan, you've used to augment, used to make it better. Okay. And I really love this particular AI idea. I don't know what's Mr. Success thing. So Mr. Success, are you still online? Can you let me AI generated, like your lesson plan? Do you think it's practical enough? Do you think it's possible in your classroom?
My dear, it is standard enough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. Mr. Ibrahim, please let's continue. Let's share this slide.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let me share my screen again.
yes, please,
Um,
kindly share your screen. So we can see that AI can do so much for us, and I need to let you know that it's not only your student that is using AI. I was still listening yesterday, and a professor in UK was saying that he was teaching. He was imagine you are teaching his students how to write, his master students, and teaching the students how to write their thesis. You know, that's like something that every student is scared of. And while he was teaching, he gave them a task to do. So people are using ChatGPT right there, looking for how to get the answers on ChatGPT. And he was just smiling because while they were still stuck. They still had to ask questions. And please, oh, ChatGPT is saying this. What do I now do? Those kind of things. So he now had to like guide them and say, yeah, you are actually doing it the very wrong way. This is the right way to do. So that's what we are actually meant to do as students. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So you can see that we've been able to establish that it's reshaping education and it's not replacing educators. It's not replacing you as a teacher. But when it is properly integrated, AI becomes a powerful assistant, help teachers boost engagement. You are able to adapt instruction. So when you talk about adapting is like you're able to use that instruction, use that knowledge, use that skill to be able to meet the needs of the students in your classroom. Okay, so every to meet the sense of the needs in your classroom and to make learning more meaningful and accessible. Now, using AI to generate concrete and real world examples, why does it matter? The truth is that when you make something abstract, and that is why that lesson plan like is kind of had some flaws, because to me I was seeing it as it being very abstract. At the end of the day, you are forced to give the students notes, right? And to write. And the truth is, right now, there's quite things you'll not be able to even cover up that note. But if you're able to do an effective delivery, when they write the note, or if you give them the notes to copy, you are doing justice because they understand what they are copying. It's different from you're trying to just make sure you're mixing up a curriculum and you're not teaching something that is abstract or vague because they don't understand it. So how do you implement it? You first of all, you identify an abstract or challenging concepts in your subject area. Then you choose an AI tool, ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, Gwen, you need a lot of things. And you create a thoughtful prompt. Ensure that your prompt includes, can you see what we did in my prompt? We have to include context. What context is usually Nigerian classroom. That is the context. There are 50 in the class. You understand? Okay. Now, specific would that's they don't have tech tools in that classroom. And me as a teacher, the only one I have access to is my phone. So I was being very specific, open-ended, trying to create, looking at this lesson plan and find the gap. Now generate something, an improved lesson plan. So at that point, I'm being open to whatever it generates. You understand? So what do you now do? You review the AI responses for relevance and accuracy, which we did together. You can see us going through it, and I'm trying to tell you, this is where it can work, where it cannot work. So yeah, I can now say, oh, this cannot work for my class. I think I need something else. You cannot re-ask GPT and chat GPT, okay, do something else for me, or try to fine-tune your prompts. Or if not, based on what has been generated, now think on how you can now creatively implement that thing. Because you are the teachers, you know your students better, actually. Now, integrate suitable examples into your lesson plans, your class discussions, or your activities. You can see that that's what we are actually doing. The next strategy to create practice quizzes. Now, quizzes are one way to, they are good starters, they are good plenaries. So as a starter, you can come in and ask questions, quizzes. It's really helps to boost the students' engagement, because sometimes you may not even be the problem. Let us face reality. The child, the student may have just come back from lunch. That lunch period, once they finish eating that lunch, they are tired, they are something, they just want to sleep sometimes. They just don't want any class again. And some of them are very hyperactive, that they want to carry that hyperactivity even into the class to continue with the phone. They want the whole phone to continue. So you have to build that moment. You have to still build that momentum. Or is a Monday morning. Sundays are not. Some people don't even look forward to Monday. Even you as a teacher, you don't even look forward to Monday. Talk more of your students, as in you just imagine. So coming on Monday morning and your class is the first class. Maybe it's maths or it's biology. Some people are not just, or maybe it's even a Friday. They want to go home at that time. Everything else, they just want to just go home. You just do and let us go home. So quizzes actually help. Why? Because they are low stake assessment. That means it's not something that they are scared of. It's not like exam, you understand? So they are fast. It helps them to really, like, remember something quickly. They are engaged. They just love the idea of, oh yes, it's A, oh no, it's B, oh it's C. And those kind of things, you can actually bring them into your classroom using AI, right? So what do you do? How do you implement all these quizzes? The first thing to do is that you need to select key topics that require reinforcement. You need to use ChatGPT or quiz platforms. We have Kahoot, we have quizzes, we have Google Form that has AI adds on. We have Quizlet, we have Formative AI, we have so many that really helps with this quiz, right? Then you can generate multiple choice, true or false questions, short answers. So you can do all those things. Then you review for content. Always review. See, review is a very big deal with AI, because AI is not perfect. One, the most important thing, AI is not the one teaching your students. You know your students better. You know the content of what you're teaching. You know the context what you're teaching. So AI does not understand, is not the teacher. You are the teacher. So that's why you have to make sure that you're reviewing at every point in time. Then you can deploy these quizzes. If you have a platform in your school, wonderful. Put quizzes on that platform. It's really like a game for the students. If there's time, I can show you how quizzes work. So you can see the end point, the end side of you playing that. So imagine, because even me as an adult, sometimes if I want to give my students some things on quizzes or some quiz on quizzes, I enjoy playing the games myself. So you can now imagine the students, how much fun they will be having also being part of that activity. So at this point also, what's the third strategy? You have to assign students to generate visual summaries. Why does it matter? There's what we call dual coding. So dual coding is you are presenting information both visually and verbally to improve student engagement, to improve their understanding, to improve their memory retention. Right now, you can agree with me that students most times are more visual than even um read, like they're more visual than even the listening itself. Why? Because they are born in a different environment. So maybe I should just use that. I can use that as an excuse too. A lot of us in older times were born to read, read. But these ones, they are watching TikTok, they are watching Facebook shorts, they are watching YouTube shorts, they are on Instagram, they are watching YouTube, they are watching a lot of things. They are going along the road, there's billboard, there's something to watch, you understand? So it's more visual for them than even the reading itself. So how do you implement this? Making sure that you are able to practice what they call dual coding in your classroom, whereby the students are both presenting their answers visually and also verbally, because you're trying to improve the student engagement. The very first thing to do is that you choose a topic for them. For instance, you're doing food chain, you're doing water cycle, reproduction, excretory system. Something that is very that is visual, even in your whole concept, even in history, sir, because now right now we have history that's been brought back into the something. And I was like, how will history be taught? So if you're an history teacher, there's a tool I can tell you that it make your history class very, very interesting. And if you don't have access to tech in your class, you can actually introduce your students to it. We have what called LO history. LO history. So LO history AI. LO history is like it's visually is more of visuals. The reason why is because what that AI tool has done is that, for instance, well, for now, they're kind of handicapped because I think they have more examples of maybe foreign examples than Africans. But let's even see, we have an African example. So let's imagine we're talking about Shakespeare. Just an example, please. Talking about Shakespeare. So when you go on LO history, LO history will bring a picture of Shakespeare. And we encourage you to ask questions, ask Shakespeare some questions. So to tell you the story of Shakespeare, you now ask Shakespeare some questions. I did it for World War II because I was trying to really explain that to a colleague of mine. So this for World War II. It told me the story about World War II, talked about Adolf Hitler. It now brought a picture of Adolf Hitler. So I'm not meant to ask questions. Okay, so I just say, Adolf Hitler, who are you? It now told me who Adolf Hitler is. Next thing is what happened? Why did you do something? It's now told me the story of the World War II. So you can see that kind of conversation, at the end of the day, I already know the whole story. I already know the whole story without even without you, a teacher, trying to force the story down my brain. Because history is like a topic that can be very, very annoying sometimes because they have a lot of dates, they have a lot of stories, there's just so much, and many students may not be able to grab everything at once. So it's like elder history also helps. So you choose all these things, then you ask the students to use AI tools in their classrooms like Canva, like DALI. DALI, have it on ChatGPT now. We have picture charts, things that can help them to create a visual representation of whatever you're teaching them in classroom. And let me let you know that even if you don't have like an image of a real life person or something, you can use mind maps. It works way, way better even for concepts. See, for instance, that lesson plan of civic society. You want to look at the qualities of civic society, use mind maps. You can just go online and search for mind maps, or you can just draw a circle in the middle and different arrows giving the different qualities of what you're doing. So you can even tell them to create a mind map based on what they've learned for vague topics, for topics that you feel like they're not really pictures to represent whatever they're teaching. Use mind maps. It goes along because that students in their head, they see the mind map and they remember. Oh, okay. Those are the examples. Now, encourage creativity while emphasizing accuracy. Encourage them to be creative while you are still emphasizing accuracy. Every student have their way. Encourage students to be themselves. Sometimes some students may love drawing. That student that love drawing, if it's a teamwork, give him the drawing task to do. Say you are the artist of this team. Encourage them to do themselves. You understand? While you're still encouraging accuracy, it's very important. Then use visual summaries as class discussions. I've talked about that. Use mind maps as starters and also as assessment tools. The reason because it gives your students a variety. Students that don't really, for instance, some students may not really enjoy, what can I say, may not really enjoy having essays as their assignments. So when essay comes up, they are stuck, they are lost, they may get a very low mark. But if you are going to be using, for instance, you are going to now say, okay, in this particular task, I'm going to be scoring you based on your presentation. Some students will get higher mark because they like talking, they are more oratory. If you say, okay, in this particular task, I'm going to be scoring you based on your visual, how neat it is, how accurate it is, how beautiful it is. I'll be scoring you based on that. Some students will be very happy because they give them a chance to show themselves. So use those varieties so that you're able to assess different students and create a sense of belonging in your classroom. Teach with AI supported content that you've created. Remember, we just did that. The lesson plan, we just created an AI, use AI to improve our lesson plan. teach with it because the ideas make sense. I even asked Mr. Success and he confirmed that AI gave awesome ideas. So you can use that in your classroom. So why does it matter? It helps you as a teacher to model effective communication while deepening your own understanding. When we cannot know everything, so sometimes even research, reading. So AI sometimes just helps you to streamline all the old ideas from everywhere. Normally, these ideas you'd have gotten it from reading like 4 different research papers, but it just wrote everything for you and able to generate a lesson plan that is very effective for your classroom. So select a concept to teach, use AI to develop like an explanation or a simplified version of the topic, interact with AI. So now, see the way I'm interacting with AI, like my assistant. Just imagine having an assistant teacher in your class and you're applying your
That's
lesson
true.
plan.
This thing is nice.
Mr. Success, please mute yourself.
So it's like an assistant actually. Yes. So imagine that you're having AI in your imagine you're having a teacher in your classroom. A lot of us that know what having an assistant teacher is, not the ones that we just feel that the assistant teacher is just to mark, it's just to you just put them one side, they are very passive. No, the teacher is meant to like discussing with you. Sometimes they're always usually younger than you because they're giving you ideas based on how far, how they've learned, how they understand the students, and they just like give you ideas on what will really work for your own lesson plan. So imagine just or you're BC or Mrs. Akpan, hey, lesson plan. Oh, I've done this. So what do you think? Do you think that way we can? Do you think that Moferi will do? Do you think that Chukudi will understand this? How will I explain so that Chukudi can understand? How will I explain? So that's just start teacher. That is their work. So we will now be brainstorming, trying to say, okay, Chukudi is more of a place. Now he likes videos. So maybe we should put in a YouTube video. We should send it at all. We should call him differently. We should and those kind of things. So that's what AI is meant to do for you. So at this point, it's not that's your teacher, that is your assistant during the time of the training for whatever, is not going to come to the class and come and take over your class. You're going to just guide, just going to suggest ideas, going to help you and everything. And now AI is now like a permanent assistant. Just put it that way. Is your permanent assistant, not your tutor. You understand? Okay. So use AI to facilitate discussion, receive feedbacks from students. Okay, and reflect with peers and students to identify the areas in the lesson that may require further refinement. I need to make you understand something. Your student is an active participant in your lesson. That is why even when you have created something like, for instance, you are doing food chain, you created, I did something on my LinkedIn recently. I was trying to point out the fact that ChatGPT has really improved in their pictures, in their images. Because before it was annoying. If you want to if you want to generate image, for instance, if you say generate a picture of a woman holding a placard that has Thanksgiving written on it. It will bring a picture of a woman. Oh, the placard, the Thanksgiving will now be spelled in a very funny way that you cannot even use. So it was not making sense using AI to generate images, and that is ChatGPT especially. The people are now using Runway, you're using what is the name of this popular one? Leonardo da Vinci. They're using trying to remember Mid Journey. Yes, they're using Mid Journey because it was more accurate. But now Mid Journey is very expensive, right? So you have to subscribe. And I now found that I generated a visual water cycle. And it was perfect. Like it was evaporation to condensation. I could see the words clearly. They were not misspelled. I was like, wow. So I was trying to really talk about that on my LinkedIn and I had to share it. Now, somebody reached out and under my comments, just under my stuff, just that I did it, that it was wrong. I did not notice, but I now like, oh, it was actually wrong. They put evaporation 2 times. Like there was no condensation. So that was the problem. That was like it was not accurate that way. So assuming I had seen it that other time, I would have changed it, but I did not see it. I just went ahead to post. And I'm kind of justified because the only thing I really wanted to talk about was the image clarity. Now, what am I trying to say? Your students are active participants because whenever I do a particular resource or whenever I do something new, you should actually ask your students what they think about it, how it can be better. It's very, very important, like how you do that too. Okay. Now, the next, yeah, we have another activity question. You're going to take it home as your assignment. The question is use AI to generate concrete and real life world examples. I think we did that. Use AI to create practice quizzes, assign students to generate visual summaries, teach with AI supported content that you've created. So the question one is, which AIs have you used before? Which AI pedagogical strategy are you interested in exploring? So you can see that these are 4 AI pedagogical strategies. The first one is that you need to use AI to generate real world examples. You need to use AI to generate or to create practice quizzes. You need to use AI to assign students to to generate visual summaries. Use AI, teach with AI supported content. So I want to even ask, as a teacher now, so far that I believe AI pedagogy, which one have you tried to use out of all these ones? Which one have you tried? Maybe knowingly or unknowingly, you've tried, okay, let me try. So have you used AI to generate concrete and real life examples? Have you used AI to create practice quizzes? Have you used AI to assign students to generate visual summaries? Have you taught with AI supported content that you've generated? Let me see your answers in the chat box. If you have not used anyone, just say none. Don't worry, we're all learners in this class. Just tell me none. No, I have not. Okay, Mr. J said I'll start ASAP. I love that. Anybody else? Let us. I want this chat box to be like none. We are many. None. Very good. Peter says none. None. Thank you. None. Everybody like, oh, none. Are you sure? Are you sure you've not tried? Are you sure you've not tried one? Even if it's strategy one. Okay, ChatGPT. And yes, but now have you used ChatGPT to do all these things that we're saying today? So just if you've not written anything down, yeah, you can bring out your notebook like me and write it down. Write these 4 strategies. Very important. It's not matter of the tool that you've used. Remember, it's not the tool. It's using the tool. Okay, thank you. Gregory said he has done number 4, that he has taught with AI supported content. Good. He has taught before with AI supported content. So I need to really explain that it's not the tool we're talking about. Remember, we're talking about AI in pedagogy. Have you used AI to generate concrete and real life examples? Have you used AI to create practice quizzes? Have you used AI? Have you tried to assign students to generate visual summaries? Okay, number 2, you have used AI to generate practice quizzes. Okay, Saka says yes, taught with AI supported content. Wow, beautiful. Okay, Sumaya says he has used AI to generate quizzes. Thank you. Now, please, your take-home assignment. If you have your phone, you can screenshot this quickly, or we'll share it later. Take-home assignments. Reflect on which AI pedagogical strategies you will like to explore. We want you go into your class this week. Okay, I think we're on break. But in case you have lessons, in case you have private classes, you can use this actually. So write a 200-word essay detailing the step-by-step process that you use to implement it in a specific topic within your field of study. Yeah, we'll share the assignment later. No problem. We would. Okay, the next slide. I've used AI to create quiz and mark as well. We have a lot of, we call them champions, tech champions in this class. So AI, how do you now personalize learning with AI-driven adaptation? So AI tools use real-life customization for the learning experience. So in this verse, why do we always like coming to class without noticing? Okay. Now, AI, you can adapt content based on student performance, pacing and learning styles, offering support individually without replacing the teacher's role. Remember, so now we have different AI tools. You can write them down, but we'll still be sharing slides to you. Okay, we have Matia, it's for maths. The same thing as Polymath, I guess. Okay, then we have Squirrel AI. This is like more for language. We have Century Tech. Century Tech is for assessment. It's very good for assessment because sometimes even when you put the assessment in Century Tech, it helps you to grade even the IQ of the students. Some schools, top schools use Century Tech when they want to make big decisions for their student assessments. So for instance, they want to know if their students will be good. So it even tells you that, oh, this particular student, so in this assessment, in this tax, in this whole range of assessments, the IQ of the student is this child you should can be able to function well with maybe maths or English. You understand this child needs to work on this, give you different steps on how the child can work. So it's really very effective. Okay. Then we have Duolingo chatbots. Duolingo too is very good. I very good, and it's more like a chatbot. If you are using Duolingo, we want you that because you can actually ask questions. You can actually say, "What is this?" and explain this to me and this kind of thing. So these systems, what do they use? They use diagnostic data to personalize their learning pathway. So this grammar is different people put in different things. So based on what you are putting, based on responses, based on so many other things, they're able to now define the next step of learning for that person. For that person. So for instance, on Duolingo, let's imagine I'm learning French on Duolingo. I can say that. So sorry. So I can say maybe I've learned greetings, but when I was learning greetings, I not very well. Duolingo will just suggest another way. That same greetings going to just reshuffle so that I can still practice. And once I'm done with greetings, I say, oh, okay, you can now move on to the next level. It brings me to the next level. So do you understand? So it's makes it more personalized for you as a teacher. Okay, and you're able to suggest enrichment activities. Use AI for accessibility, linguistic, and cultural elements. I really love this particular part. I love this. So it helps with supporting inclusive education as much as we have students that may be blind, hearing problems, learning deficits, and so many other things. So you don't need to be scared because AI is helping. AI is going to can help. So when it comes to vision support, these are things that you can use. You can use Google Live Transcribe. You can use screen readers. So I told you about screen reader, natural screen reader during one of my classes, and I said that it reads whatever is on the screen out to the students. Okay, we have braille display, we have alt text. Now we have alt text. So alt text also helps to read. So for instance, even on if you check on LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn, we have alt text on LinkedIn. So when you put an image, it's expected to like describe the image. For instance, you're having like a teacher with some students, so that when the screen reader is reading, it now reads, oh, this is an image of a teacher with some students. So the whoever is blind is, oh, okay, at this point there's an image attached and it's teacher with some students. So imagine using that in the classroom. It also goes a long way to help. We also have reading mode. Now for mobility support, people that can't type, maybe something with their hands, cerebral palsy and all that, you use what you call voice typing. They also they can talk. They also have some sticky keys. They also have on-screen keyboard. You just have to like tap without even having to do so much stress with their hands. They have the switch access. So these are different mobility supports that are provided by AI. Okay. The next one is cognitive support to help with the learning. Some people have issues learning sensory overload. I have a particular student one time that she could not just cope what was going on in class because it was a lot for our brain. So you want to cover curriculum in 5-10 weeks. The child cannot cope with week one scheme alone or week one topics. So what do? You now have to like break them into chunks, into smaller chunks for that particular child to avoid what they call sensory overload. And tech is very helpful. You are doing note taking. Even you are as a teacher, maybe you're doing your master's or your doctorate or maybe your whatever, and you want to really understand something that you're having a lot of understanding, you can use these tools for yourself. We have note taking with Google Keep, just to write the notes. We have Google Fonts for readability. We have Smart Compose. Now for hearing support, we have real-time captions. Mr. Ibrahim explained to you that even in this Google Meet now, you can transcribe whatever you are hearing. There's what we call CC. Once you go down on your laptop, you see CC, that is captions there. But if you, as in your phone, just click on that 3 dots, you see CC. So once you click on that CC, everything I'm saying is writing it for you. So sometimes, if for instance, if you're having issues trying to follow me as I'm talking, you can just read whatever is being said. So that is the work of AI. You understand? Okay. So all these features help to do what they help to close the gap, the learning gaps. And it also helps to now give everybody an equity. You understand? Not equality actually, because it cannot, but gives everybody equity, like equitable access to education. Next slide. AI is used for student-centered learning strategies. Okay, you can use AI to assist inquiry-based or project-based form of learning. We know that right now, project-based form of learning is like the best form of learning because of AI. So you can use tools like because in this PBL, you are able to investigate real-world problems, and able to conduct research, present findings, creativity. This is something that you need to encourage your students to do. They should go and conduct that thing by themselves. They should go and make inquiries. They should go and do that. Is what we call project-based form of learning. And what tools can you use? You can use Elicit, you can use Perplexity AI. You can use Claude. Claude AI was not for Africans before, but right now it's for Africa and you can use it. I love Claude AI even more than ChatGPT. Okay, so we have PhET, we have Labstar, we have Google VR. This is for simulations. So now in your classroom, if your students have access to that laptop once in a while, or maybe you have a smart projector, you can borrow from your fellow colleague like Mr. Success now. Assuming I'm in the school, in fact, he'll be my best friend because I'll come for that projector all the time. You understand? Okay, so you can use the Google VR for it. So Google VR gives, you can go and just search online, go to YouTube, you see how Google VR works. It's very, very good. It's because I was part of some teachers that did this thing on VR one time in my school, and I was like, wow, see, I wish I'm a student now, sincerely, in this century, with going to a very good school. I need to put that as instant because it just gives you access to a lot of things. And we're talking about arts, the part of the arts, the four chambers. Personally, I cannot, in fact, up to that time, you see the artillery, one of those bab, I was having issues on that time because like, just ask, just ask. But guess what? During the VL class, they put us, we had the VL lens, then we did an AR. There's this AR stuff that we have to hold. So AR is whatever I'm seeing on the VR. So the VR is giving me like a projected view of the part of the arts. Like I'm seeing that the way in a 3D form, and I'm seeing everything, the whole parts of the arts with the students. Then I get an AR. I've forgotten the name. I'm so sorry, please. There's an AR block. Let me just call it that way. So that AR block has what they call scanned the QR codes on it. So once I hold the AR block and point it towards the screen with my VR lens, it looks like as if I'm holding the art, that art that is on that screen in my hand. So I can rotate it. I'm seeing it's like I'm having a very close view of that art. I can rotate it and see it very, very clearly. And so please tell me which students we feel with that kind of experience. How will you feel like that when you've seen the art, you even touch it, you can see all different parts. You can see it very clearly. And your teacher is okay, so this part is this part, this part is this. You can see it very, very clearly because of what this Google VR. So it's something that you can actually try in your school. And you don't even need so many materials. And right now you can even do like a DIY, do it yourself using cardboard and all that to create that kind of experience. Okay, so we have project management. So you can use Notion AI, you can use Trello, you can use Miro. I'm going to encourage you to use Miro because sometimes I find Trello can be very confusing. If you have not started, Notion AI is very good too also. But for students, you can try starting with Miro because Notion, Trello, you get to a point you have to subscribe for higher for bigger things like for more features. So what can you do for fact checking? We have Google Facts Check Explorer. We have Turnitin for AI detection. Turnitin is very good. Now, although you have to as a school, so most times the schools that subscribe for those things because there's a lot of money to really subscribe. But Turnitin is very good. If a school can, if something like you can encourage your school, maybe your department, you and yourself, some colleagues can say, okay, let us do this Turnitin. You need to subscribe for Turnitin. It's a very, very good thing, because whenever students submit their assignments, you are not stressing your head trying to know whether ChatGPT, whether just put it on Turnitin. You as a doctor, a prof, or a lecturer knows how many percent plagiarism you don't want in that particular essay, or even as a teacher. So whenever you are submitting, for instance, if you're doing IGCSE and all that, you have to train your students with Turnitin, because a lot of students always want to, copy and paste and do all those kind of things. So once you have that, it tells you the percentage of plagiarism in that thing. And once it's more than, some people will have like 90, 80, 70, no. You can't go on. You have to go back. And because we force them to go back, they'll be forced to do what? They'll be forced to look back, look at that essay again and do it properly. Okay. Now, you can foster critical thinking with AI. So AI should be your partner in inquiry, should be your assistant teacher. Yes. And encourage students to challenge AI output. I cannot overflog it. AI did something. Tell your students what is lacking in this AI, what the AI not do well, what can be better. Let them think. You understand? Okay. So use AI to present multiple perspectives, engage in class discussion to evaluate AI generated responses, incorporate ethical dilemmas and interdisciplinary connections, and also teach digital literacy and AI ethics. So AI ethics is very important. We talked about it. Even right now, you cannot put in some information on AI. It's very important because it can be used against you. And even some AI tools are not even encouraged to ask for some information, just like what Mr. Ibrahim said in his first class. You can't be asking for BVN or a student's BVN. It's very wrong. Okay. And try to engage with your class to evaluate AI responses. Next slide. So these are ways we can use AI for open exploration and critical thinking. The very first one is, remember, AI is as a partner, it's not your brain. So it can never replace your students to think. Very important. You only use AI responses for inspiration. You can see the way I told you that we have a lesson plan. So using that AI response to inspire how we can now, teach in our next class. Now, students must learn how to challenge AI responses. It's very important, please. Especially if you're teaching SS1 to SS3, you can start integrating that into the lesson. Please don't feel like, oh, you don't want them to know about it. They know. They know already. You don't need to say they know, but now you need to like challenge them to be able to, begin to ask AI some questions, begin to AI has given a particular kind of output. Talk to your students, put them in different teams. What is wrong with these answers? What can be better? Very important. Encourage fact checking using journals. Right now, before we say journals are for university students, but you can bring it even in secondary school, in S.H.E especially. Why? Because many of these students, they need to, after school, they can get a job, they can do something else with their life. So they need to understand the need to even fact check. They need to research, they need to get accurate information. And right now, even have a lot of AI tools that are helping with all these things. We have things like Sky Space. We have Sky Space. We have Cloud AI. We have tools like trying to remember one particular tool that I came across. Scholastic. Yes, Scholastic. So all these tools can be used by PhD students and even students that want to really move forward in what can I say, in research. Now, exploration should be open-ended, should not be closed-ended, should be open-ended. So you always use the blue taxonomy to ask questions, even on AI. How can you understand? Suggest different ways. Moving further, in other words, just not saying don't use AI to do Google search. AI is not Google search. What is this? What is civil society? That is not AI. What are the different ways that we can adapt the qualities of civil society in our environment? What practical steps? So make it open-ended. Always make your something open-ended. Make it more of discussion. Like it's not for you to just search. Make it open-ended, okay, and explore across disciplines. The next one, final one, is developing ethical AI awareness, understanding how AI shapes information, and teaching how students how to filter AI information, guide students also in using AI ethically. We cannot re-emphasize that. The next slide, please. Next slide. We're rounding off already. The next time, Mr. Ibrahim. How many slides do we have left? Okay, conclusion. AI as a catalyst for deeper learning. So remember that AI, when you use AI intentionally, it becomes what a gateway to curiosity, innovation, and lifelong learning. So teachers, sorry, remain central to this transformation. We are guiding students in words critical engagement, ethical reflections, and purposeful exploration. The future of future of education is not AI or humans. It is AI with humans. That is why this topic was really focused on what blending AI with traditional method of teaching, using AI to augment, to improve the traditional method of teaching. And I hope it was practical enough for everybody here. The next slide, are we through, Mr. Ibrahim? Okay, so Mr. Ibrahim, can you hear me? The next slide, please. Yes, I guess we can start asking our questions at this point. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can raise your hands and let us ask questions. I think this is the end of today's slide, right, Mr. Ibrahim? Okay.
No, we
Let's
still have
quickly
more. We still have a module.
Okay. Now let's move on. Let's quickly run through this. We're almost behind schedule.
Hello.
Next slide.
Seems we still have a module.
Yes, next slide. So talking about formative assessments, AI-driven assessment strategies. The very first thing that you need to know is you can use AI as instant feedback tools. The tools that we can use is Grammarly, we can use Gradescope, we can use Edu AI. We can also use formative AI, question well, they help you with feedbacks as on the spot. Then we have adaptive assessments. This is when you are able to change based on the learner's performance. And we use tools like quizzes, Kahoot, Century Tech. I explained that to you very well. Then Google Forms with an AI add-on known as Bluebarrel. Okay. Then sentiment analysis. You're able to assess students' emotional engagement and frustration level during tasks, providing data on the learner's well-being. So these are the tasks, these are things that you can do using AI. So we have adaptive quizzes for personalized learning. So how does it work? What I'm going to really encourage everybody here is to try and do these tools by them and practice these things by yourself. Go when you are done to this class, check on, try to understand quizzes AI is very, very good. It helps to adapt. Then we have general feedback on writing tasks. Writing tasks, we have Grammarly, we have Google Smart Compose. These are tools that help you as a teacher to be able to, generate feedback instantly with your students, for your students. So we have Grammarly, we have Smart Compose, we have Turnitin, I've explained Turnitin, we have Brilliance AI. These are all the tools that you can use as a teacher to generate feedback on writing tasks. The next, so now many of these tools also help assessment to help with learning analytics dashboards. And we know that dashboards, so think about dashboards, for instance, Google Classroom. Once you put all your students on Google Classroom, you give them assessments, it gives you insights into what you've taught them. It gives you insight into, what can I say? It gives you insight into what you've taught them. It gives you insight into their performance. You can see the dashboard. Even on quizzes, you can see who is the first, who is what, if they understand and all that. Okay. Then we have module learning, we have Moodle, we have Microsoft Education. The next one for engagement tracking. Sometimes you want to really know if your students are engaging with whatever you're doing. One thing that you can use is the Ed Puzzle. Ed Puzzle helps you to generate videos, but now in an interactive way. That means that they are watching the video. So when they are watching the videos, they are also at the same time.
300 naira.
At the same time, they're watching the videos, and at the same time, they can. It pauses. It asks them question. I'm so sorry for the network. It pauses and asks them question. Then they can able to answer that question before they move on to the next part of the video. Then you can use what they call Nearpod or Peer Deck. You can also use the quizzes engagement tracker. Next slide, please, Mr. What are the strengths of using AI for formative assessment? It gives you instant feedback on quizzes. You can use it for large classes. So you can't say, oh,
Hello?
there are about 50 or 60 in my class, I cannot use it. You can use it for large classes. You can use it to enable personalized
Hello?
instruction. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. You can use to save for time saving and consistent grading. So you just remove that tax of grading from you for you as a teacher. It really removes that tax for grading and helps you as a teacher to be able to, automate your grading process. Automate it. You just, for instance, I think Google Classroom, you can just automate that Google Classroom grading process. You're not thinking about whether you need to mark and all that. So it helps and it's very scalable for students. Yeah, some limitations. Hope you know that even with the whole AI is not perfect. One thing I need to understand is the fact that you as a teacher, you need to still cross-check. You still need to review at every point in time. So let me share my screen. It may carry bias. It actually have bias at every point in time, because of so many factors. It can lead to bias. Then it might also misinterpret creativity and emotions. We need to understand that part. AI does not read emotions, so it can misinterpret creativity and emotions. It also has what you call limited cultural sensitivity. It does not understand all cultures. Even up to now, Africans are not being properly represented in many AI platforms, and that's because we don't have Africans that are feeding it a lot of data, right? So it can also, if you're not careful, you over rely on it, and it's not very good. It reduces your creativity, reduces your critical thinking skills, and all that. So how do we now overcome these limitations? Very first thing is that AI should educators, as educators, we need to review the AI graded work at every point in time. Secondly, blend AI with teachers' judgment is important. As you use AI, also you as a teacher, try to make sure that you're giving it your own judgment. Train AI on diverse data sets. So putting different culture, different information at different points in time, that way you are training your own AI on this data set. Use AI as a support tool, not a replacement. Very, very important. Now, what is the ethical and validity considerations when using AI? First, bias in algorithm. AI normally favors or might favor rigid writing styles and may not really support a lot of creative expression. This is why it's very important that when you are this is why it's very important that when you are doing that, you need to really put in a lot of information. So you see why I said Nigerian classroom, there are no more, there are 15 in a class. We don't have technology. Now you are training you're training that AI to be able to do whatever it needs to do for you. Okay. Then data privacy. It's very important that you are careful that when you're using any AI tool, so that it does not breach data privacy. What's data privacy? Things that, for instance, like we have the BVN, a very common example where that can be extreme. We have other things that AI should not ask actually from students or even from you as an educator. So that's very important. You have to like make sure that you are so sure about any AI tool and make sure it does not breach your privacy, because if you are not careful, there's AI for good and there's AI for bad. We need to know that. The same way people, the same way Yahoo boys are using computer or internet for bad. That is also the way it works. Okay, now we need to also understand the role of humans, human judgment. AI does not struggles because it cannot see you, does not understand content, does not understand emotions or contextual nuances. We are going to be sharing the attendance very soon. But it's very important that you understand that teachers, as teacher, you are playing a very active role in final evaluation. Okay, the next slide. Narrative AI. This is the conclusion. Tools should be implemented thoughtfully, balancing automation with human insight, maintaining ethical standards, and ensuring fair and secure practices. So AI is meant to support and not replace teachers' expertise in creating meaningful learning experiences. So it's very, very important that we understand this conclusion. We understand this conclusion. AI is meant to support us and not to replace us. We cannot overemphasize that. And I hope we can use this different tools that we use today to be able to get more insight on these AI tools. Okay, next way to participate in this, go online, search for Google Applied Digital Skills. It's a course that can help you as a teacher to learn more about generative AI. So we encourage you to participate to do this. Then also do this Microsoft AI for Education certification. You also need to do this. This certificate is also becoming a prerequisite for MIE experts, and MIE experts will be open soon, right? So these are things that you can do as a teacher. So apart from this, please go for Google Applied Skills. Also do the Microsoft AI for Education certification. We'll be sharing this on WhatsApp later. Okay, so we've come to the end of this. Yes, if you have any question, kindly let me know. But this attendance, it has been shared, so you can actually fill your attendance form now. Let me reshare it so that you're not going to be having issues. Thank you so much, everybody. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? If you have questions, kindly unmute and ask your questions. Mr. Isaac Obaseki. Yes, you can ask your question.